they have a, because it's other coaches and they just have kind of that fixated view of marketing is when you're marketing a product or marketing a launch or what have you, an event. They don't really think about that we have to market ourselves. I mean, we have to market who we are, what we do. We have to market our businesses. It has to be something that's always at the forefront of our mind. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere, especially in this, this time period where everything's being done on social media. And if you don't have an audience, a reach, if you don't have that consistency, it's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You're right. And you're right. Even the clients I work with, marketing is not, they don't see it as, they look at it as an event.
Yeah.
And not as a part of their business. So when we talk about it, it becomes this overwhelming topic, and they shut down, deer with the eyes in the headlights, and they go, I don't want to talk about this right now. I can't. So I was like, okay. So then what happens is they fall back on the referrals. They lean back on client referrals, and they're okay with that. But so what we want to do is make sure that that's not the only egg in the basket. You don't want to put all your eggs in the one basket waiting on client referrals, because sometimes it runs dry. And right. You want to have other people, you want people to know about you as a person that gives, a giver, that you're authentic, and you're not always trying to reach into their pocket.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. And like you said, it can dry up. I mean, eventually it will. It'll dry up at some point. And another thing that I think to go towards marketing is that we always have to be bringing in, it's circular. We always have to be bringing in prospects and getting out there, getting visible, bringing in our following so that we can complete that sales cycle. And that part of that is marketing right from the beginning, right on that first step one.
Absolutely. So it's got to be in the front of your mind. It's got to be part of what is like the gas in the car for your business. If you don't do marketing, then your business isn't going to go anywhere. If you don't put gas in the car, it's not going anywhere. And so if you want your business to go somewhere, the gas you need for your business to move forward is marketing. So since this is our most favorite subject, let's see what tips we can share. And we don't want to overwhelm. So we're going to keep this really simple and just focus on a few key things we feel you could focus on. Focus on a few key places to marketing your business. Now, if you all know me, you know I have my monsters. And these are 5 of the monsters that I have found live under our beds and keep us from getting a good night's sleep. Because if your business isn't as full as you want, you do dream and nightmare about networking and marketing your business. Because we know we need to do it. Oh my gosh, but we hate to think about having to do it, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's for introverts. Do you work with introverts?
I have a couple clients that are introverts, but mostly I attract extroverts.
Do you find extroverts freak out about networking and marketing too?
Oh yeah, because it's, it has to be structured, and a lot of extroverts don't like the structure. So you really need, the person that really doesn't overwhelm, I think, are the ones that are down the middle. They're part extrovert, part introvert, and they're a little bit more, I think, grounded and analytical, and so they're okay to move forward. But extroverts, they don't want the structure, and then the introverts don't want the attention.
That's true, because we love the structure.
Right, you love the structure.
We can plan forever. Getting it done, honey. That's the other part. Is like, okay.
Yeah, and that's true. It's.
I'm so glad you help us with that differentiate. Describing the difference between the two. Anyone else can jump in and say what that word is, and that's fine.
Differentiation.
Differentiation.
There it goes.
It's after 5, girl. I have no control over this tongue after 5. So here's 2 things I want people to think about. What is the most important for your business to grow? Do you want more visibility or do you want more credibility? Which do you hear the most, Cheryl?
I hear the credibility most of the time.
Do you work with a lot of new coaches?
Yes, I work with a lot of new coaches. So they're coming out of their getting their credentials or their certifications, and so that's been their focus, right? Is to get the education, get the certification. So now they're credible, or they might look at other ways to get more credible, like ICF accreditation, things along those lines. But yeah, their focus has been credibility.
And I find that one of the things the reason they focus on that is because they feel like I'm a new coach and so I shouldn't charge as much as everyone else.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, really? You're making the rest of us look bad. So stop doing that.
I did a live on that specifically about the charging and not being able to just have confidence in charging a decent amount. I mean, I wasn't talking, just a decent amount, but you're right. So they're focused in on getting credible, and they don't feel that way in the beginning at all. Even when they have all the education and their certifications and credentials, they still don't feel it.
They don't, and they have the credibility because they already have the experience that they're trying to help someone else achieve.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've already walked that path. You've already taken that journey, and you're successful on this side, and that's why you're helping others. So you're credible in that you've already done this. Yeah. And that right there should boost you right through the roof. So visibility, I find, and I know for introverts, especially when we're online, visibility is a really hard thing to get because it's like there's thousands of people out there. How are they going to notice just me? Yeah. Right? So marketing helps us with both of these areas. No matter which one you feel you need in your business, your marketing is going to touch that. Don't you agree?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because when you're getting visible, you're building your credibility. So it's twofold.
Absolutely. Good. Thanks for connecting the dots right there. If you are visible, you're building credibility. The more they see you, the more they believe you, the more they feel you, they can read your material, they can learn more about you. That's what builds your credibility too.
Yes.
And then we have, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just said absolutely important.
So here's the one thing that I find a lot of us struggle with. Oh, even I do. I know what we're supposed to do. But doing it on a consistent basis,
Hey, I'm right there. I mean, I will be totally honest. The consistency for me was lacking until this year. I mean,
how'd you fix that?
I did it every week. I was lucky, and now I post, I do posting every day. I do lives scheduled every week. I mean, I had to say, okay, I know, like you said, I know what has to be done. And so I have to schedule it out at the beginning of the month. I have to put it on my calendar. I use a scheduling app to help me keep making sure that I'm consistent with my posts. And then it's just, and I have that marketing plan, which I do quarterly.
Yes.
And I have my themes and everything. So it's consistency, but in its work, but it's also, it's fun, and it's working in your business and on things that you have control over.
What scheduling tool do you use?
I use Hootsuite.
Okay. And I use Recur Post. And even with the Facebook changes, there's enough, even with the Facebook changes, which is the Facebook profiles, your personal profile, now they won't be allowing us to bring that third-party posting in, whatever. It's like really,
I just share from my business page to my personal timeline, and that's
there you go. They can shut it down if they want to.
Yeah.
But if we're using our groups and our business pages to
Yeah.
post, it will go through there and we can just pull that back over to our personal.
Yeah.
So consistency, what I heard you say is I have a plan and a calendar and a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wing it.
Nope.
It won't happen.
And you can tell when people are winging it. You know, when you're looking online, you know, you're in Facebook or you're, you know, on Instagram or whatever, you can tell when people are winging it. They're, you know, there's not a lot of thought in it. And, you know, so a little bit of the authenticity gets taken away. And then I just personally, I mean, I agree that you need to get out there. So there should be some spontaneity to it. But on the other hand, to build that credibility and that visibility, you need to have thoughtful consistency as well. So there should be a balance there.
And you don't have to be everywhere.
Right.
You just need to pick 2 places, maybe 3, because you want to follow up. So if you're going to post, you want to follow up, make sure if other people are responding, that you can respond back. Let's call it social media.
That's right. You have to engage with other people.
Yes. And even if it's your post, why not respond to your post? If you ask a question or something, you could be the one that answers your own post. That's okay too.
Yeah. Mine is in the comments with the little arrow down. Mine is in the comments.
So let's get into a little bit of technical jargon here. And let's just define what a strategy is. And then help them to see how it can improve their visibility and their credibility. So let's just look at a technical description of what a marketing strategy is. And so this is one I like to use, and it talks about the how. So if you have a plan of what you want to do, a marketing strategy answers how you're going to get it done. And it also is one that, as Cheryl mentioned, is done over a period of time. So if you say, I'm going to do this every month, every week, every quarter, whatever it is, it's kind of like stick to it. And as the scriptures say, let your yes mean yes. If you say you're going to do it every week, and make sure you do it every week. If you're going to do it every day, then go ahead and get a scheduling tool like the ones we use so that you can do it every day. You don't physically have to do it every day.
Right.
And then by putting that together, that increases your visibility and your authenticity, because you promised you would do it every day. They can count on you to do it every day. And when you tell them you're going to do Facebook Live every Thursday, you darn well better show up on Thursday, because when you don't, you know, then they go, oh, well, maybe she's not going to come this week because she didn't come last week. And you don't want to do that.
Right. And you said show up, and that's the important, that's my word, that's my phrase that I tell my clients. You need to show up. And you need to commit to showing up. So first is the commitment to showing up, and then the follow through of showing up. And marketing is the perfect showing up tool that you have in your business.
Right. But it's kind of scary because now we're holding you accountable to do what you said.
Yep.
And I get on my clients all the time. Looky here, we got a newsletter coming up. What are we putting in it? Let's start working on it now. And then so we can release it on time, because people need to know what we're doing, what you're doing, and they rely on you. It's just crazy. So rather than thinking about all of the marketing that could be done, I like to help my clients think about one thing. What is it that you're weakest in your business? Is it your list building? Maybe your lead generation? And, maybe that's where you have no activity. Or it could be, I've been, working off referrals all this time. I have absolutely no online presence. Okay, so then that might be the area you want to focus on. Or you might be like Crazy Kirk E here, and you're everywhere, but you really want to reach out to some influential people. You want some influencers. You want to really have a deeper connection. So you want to work on your reach. Sure, all 3 of these are important for your business, but you don't need to do all 3 at the same time. What do you think?
Yep. Yeah. So taking, like you said, choosing out of these three, where is your weakest, the weakest area that you need to build up, and if you can also look at it as which the one that's going to give you the most success right now to help you towards whatever your current business goals are. But yes, if you're looking at your weakness, I think that you choose one and you get consistent with it. Then you can add in another one, get consistent with it, then add in the other one. It's not about trying to do everything at one time. It's about getting consistent, showing up consistently, and then adding in what you need to add.
And like you said, also keeping track of the results.
Yeah.
Because if you start a strategy and start using a strategy for list building and you don't see anything happening in that strategy, don't change the horse, change maybe the saddle. So if you're writing and it's not working, then maybe try a different type of list building strategy, but don't give up the list building. Get that, stick with that, but find a different way to make it happen.
Yeah. And track.
Absolutely. I was so thrilled when I started building my group and I started using one of the list building strategies, and those numbers started jumping and people were coming in. It was like so exciting. And I think I had growth like you had. I started with 15 and it got up to 65 like in no time. And I had those 15 for like 6 months.
Yep.
Right. But in 30 days, it had jumped to 65 and I was so excited. So it's crazy how it does work when you apply it.
Yeah.
So let's say you're one of those people that say, well, I'm really not good at networking. So you know what? I don't even leave the house. So I know if you're online, you still have networking opportunities online. And you probably go, well, I'm not going online because everybody's online. So maybe you don't do any. And if that's you, then you probably need to work on some list building and lead generation activities.
Yeah.
So what are the ones that you feel are really good? What kind of strategies do you use for your list building?
I blog, and I of course have my email marketing with the newsletter, and I have different pieces of content that I add value, hopefully, to people and their businesses, and which goes back to the email marketing, I guess. But I have that strategy where I'm having an opt-in with a piece of content that is going to be valuable to my base, and then they fall into my email marketing, and then they will get an initial campaign around that freebie that I've given them or that opt-in that I've given them. And then it might be 3 to 5 emails, and then they move them to a consistent touch, which is, in my case, it's a weekly newsletter with success tips in it. And then this way I'm engaging with them, and I don't just leave it either. You have to work that list. So you have to make sure that they're engaging, that they still like the content. So every few weeks I might throw an email out there that asks a question, or asks to make sure that asking them if they're still enjoying the content, what else they would like to see, that kind of stuff. So it does take time. You do have to build it up. And blog posting is the same thing. You're not just going to publish a blog and all of a sudden you're going to get all these hits and comments and numbers. It just doesn't work that way. You have to be consistent writing blog. And I say for my clients, at least once a week, but 2 times a week is usually better. But it depends on your business as well. But at least once a week to get a blog post out there. And if you can't do once a week, that's fine. Whatever it is, every other week, just make it consistent. And then a newsletter is always helpful as well, which gives value and then also allows you to talk more to your clients and find out, or your prospects, and find out more about them through that newsletter. So those are my main ways of list building.
Those are wonderful ways. And I just did a segment on a content strategy calendar, and looking at that blog post, that topic for the month having 2 blog posts that focus on that topic, then creating the images that I use to post online. And then, because once I post the blog, then I take those images to drive attention to the blog and link it back to the blog.
Absolutely.
So once you do a blog, you want to go out and tell people that you put it there and give them a link so they can come back and read the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put those images in that blog post in my newsletter and send that out. So you need to have at least 4 touches with your list or with your network each month to keep people to stay in front of their mind, and so that they can stay connected to you.
Yep. Yeah, and so and blog posting is good for, you can always link your blog post to LinkedIn as well as Facebook. And I don't think they're too, I don't think it's too effective on Instagram or Twitter, but I think on Facebook and LinkedIn, it's very effective to use blog posts there.
Yes. Well, if you do an enumerated blog post, like 7 ways to do something, then it works on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah. So the next one we have is, this is Gabby. And Gabby doesn't have an online presence because Gabby's used to getting referrals and word of mouth. So she's never really focused on marketing. And so now she needs to build a presence so that when she does, building a presence when you don't need business, so that when you do need business, people don't see you as always wanting to put your hand in my pocket.
Yeah. So giving value for building online presence, that's going to be the biggest thing. And I would say getting out there and joining groups, start to interact with people, find out where your ideal client is hanging out. If it's Facebook, where are they hanging out on Facebook? What are the groups they're in? What are the pages they like? What are the videos they're watching? Get out there and figure it out. And same thing with, any other social media avenue, just looking at where your ideal clients are going to hang out, and then you have to show up there.
So Cheryl, one of my pet peeves is the Facebook groups. I just feel, don't join the group if you're not going to add any value.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't just join the group to show up on the roll of people who are in the group. There's 4,526 people in the group. Really? Are you coming in there to add some value or what? Just because it's a good place to hang out. So if you do that, then you find yourself, you're in 15, 20 groups and you're not interacting in any of them.
Yeah. And you can join, that's a thing. I mean, people just join all these groups and you'll wind up with 20, 30 groups. And like you said, you're not engaging in them and you're just a number on their page. You're not doing them any good. And if you're not interacting. Now, if you're interacting in the group, that's where you're going to, it boosts your presence because people will start to know you. You're giving value, you're concerned, you're being authentic, you're participating. And so that's going to boost your visibility. And people will then, if they're liking what you're saying and liking your position and how you're presenting yourself, they're going to follow you in other areas. And I'm not saying that that's the purpose of joining groups, but it is to get that presence out there. And groups is a good way to do that. But you do have to add value to it. You have to be respectful of the host of that group and add value and participate in it in order to just, again, be known, but also it helps you to be known, like what your heart is, what your goals are, and it will help you also as far as networking. You get to have a feeling of that you're belonging in part of, in a group. You belong. You have that interaction with your peers in that group.
Yes, and notice how what John Rampton says here. He says each and every business needs to have a strong online presence in this economy, in this century, in this world we live in today. And by having that strong online presence, not only will you increase your brand's reputation, but you'll be established as an authority figure. So as Cheryl said, when you join those groups, be joining because you're thinking of how can I give? What is it that I do that I can share in this group? If you're an author, can you come and share some of your tips for how to write? Can you come and share some of your tips on how to get published? So think about who it is you are and what gifts you have, and then join those groups so that you can give, and it will help you be more comfortable with sharing with others, and they'll get to know you, and you never know who they know, and people start spreading your name around, and then things start happening in your business.
Yeah.
She's so funny. You know, I paid her to say yep. I do like this. I go, and she goes, yep. I said, okay.
Honey.
I just wanted to know that we got a connection here.
We definitely have this connection.
So our third one is, this is Kirk E, and Kirk E is crazy about his business, and he's all over the place. Well, he's in the right places. It's just he's been building his presence for a while, but now he wants to really develop some influential connections. We're talking maybe JV partners, we're talking alliances, those types of things. So Gerke is a little more advanced in his business, and I wouldn't recommend a Gerke personality for a brand new coach.
No, absolutely not. And you can look at us, and we are collaborating here, right? We are reaching both of our audiences with hopefully value, right? What they find valuable. And this is simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have contracts for every little thing. People think JV and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to write up a JV contract. And, no, we're not talking about having to do, of course, those are good, but we're not talking about having to, jump right into that. Start collaborating with people. And that have the same heart, the same direction, the same goals for their businesses, and where you have a similar audience. And like, for instance, our audiences are pretty similar. I help businesses, coaches, entrepreneurs, as does Kim, and I'm more on the coach side, and Kim's more on the business side and more on the marketing and introvert side. And I'm more on that extrovert type side. So, there's value in collaborating. There's value to both our followers. And then we can always cross, it's like cross-pollinating. And there's enough business. Here's the thing. There's enough business for all of us. And I think a lot of women and a lot of coaches don't understand that. And they feel like they have to keep everything to themselves and making sure that they're the only one, giving out here or making themselves known. And I think by building each other up, as coaches especially, by building each other up, we help to not only reach more people and help more people, but we help ourselves in our businesses. If I have somebody that comes to me, then they're introverted and they need a marketing introvert coach, they're going to Kim. Here you go. That's her area. So I'm kind of just saying this to all you guys. You have to understand that collaborating, building each other up is the way to go. First of all, it aligns with everything, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, it's all about alignment, and that's going to align with it. And then there's enough business and there's enough influence for all of us. And when you put out, you get what you put out, right? So if you're putting this all out into the universe, you're going to get it back twofold.
Absolutely. And collaboration, I think the Facebook Lives, having discovered it and stepping out to do it, I am such a Facebook Live junkie now. And a few months ago, I would have like, no, I can't do it. But now I just love it. And being able to have another coach on the line with me, and we have these great conversations. Yeah. And they host it in their group, and then I host them in my group. And it's, you know what? It's all about helping the group be better. We're helping people be better. So,
Yes.
you know, what greater thing? In introverts, we love building relationships. We love helping other people be amazing. And as coaches, that's what we do.
Yes.
So this is a real simple, easy way to increase your reach is find a partner, a buddy coach, find a coach that complements what you do and bring them on in. And don't worry, because like Cheryl said, there's plenty of work to go around. You can only coach so many at a time anyway. And your personality may not be the one that they're looking for. So bring somebody else in that might really help them.
Well said.
Wow. We've given a mouthful in this 30 minutes. It goes so fast.
It does.
But here's what I want you to take away. I want you to take away this, people. Don't get overwhelmed with all the marketing that needs to be done. Pick one area of your business where you feel it's weak and focus on finding the right strategies for doing that.
And I would say, just kind of reiterate, plan, track, show up.
Show up, plan, track, show up.
Right.
Consistency and persistency. That's what it's all about. Well, we want to thank all of you for being with us today, and we will get to the comments down in the section after this is done, and we look forward to the next time we roll this out. We're going to be doing it on Cheryl's house. Woohoo! All right.
We'll come at you guys with those topics later on in the month.
Later on in the season. I don't know what you're talking about in this month.
Well, topics will come out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, and thanks, Cheryl, for doing this with me. I've had such a ball.
Thank you, Kim. I've had a great time. It was really fun.
Let's, okay, we'll do that. And I need to stop the recording.